Hey, what's going on? My name is Alaina. I know this is definitely your first time coming to my channel. My channel is called Alaina's Adventures. It's going to be anything and everything history. As you can see from the About tab, I joined in May of 2021 and I have not done any videos. I am so sorry about that. I just literally had no idea what to post, but I was like, you know what? Since I have a big obsession with Abraham Lincoln, why not make a slideshow about it and show you guys my journey from then, when I first got obsessed, to now. So, this is going to be my first video. Before I go into anything, comment down below the next thing you want to see me do. If it's like anything Lincoln related, or president related, or history related, pretty much anything. This channel isn't dedicated to Lincoln, even though I might talk about him a lot for my next few videos when I don't have that much of great ideas, but this is anything history related. I was thinking of doing, so I went to the Stevenson house in October of 2015, and I did a video of that, and I was thinking I'll post that next, but other than that, I really need some ideas down in the comments below if any of you guys see this, which nobody might see this because it's my first video and I only have 1 subscriber. Speaking of channels and subscribers, I have another channel. It's called Drum and Alaina. I do drum covers on there, and I also post videos of my gigs with my band. I will link my channel down below in the description for you guys all to see. But without further ado, let's go along with this slideshow. So, my Abraham Lincoln journey. So this is from April 2012 to now, and how my obsession started. So yeah, as I think or remember, it started in April of 2012, so I was 7 years old. So, as you can see here, this probably was the first thing I saw and what led to my obsession. If not, I don't know, but this is what I assume is my first thing I went to. So, as you can see, wow, this is my first video, so please be nice. I'm trying my best. So, as you can see, this is Abraham Lincoln's house. Funny enough, my first Abraham Lincoln trip was on April 4th, which is Tad's birthday. So I thought that was pretty funny. Tad is Abraham Lincoln and Mary's fourth and final son. So, the Lincoln House is located on 413 South 8th Street, Springfield, Illinois, 62701. Tours are from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., I think daily. I'm not really sure. I tried to look up the specifics, but I couldn't find anything, so I assume they're open all year long. Free tickets for the Lincoln Home Tour can be reserved at the Visitor Center on the day of the visit that you can go to. Groups of 15 or more must schedule their tour in advance with the Springfield Convention Visitors Bureau. Also, you can't just randomly just stroll along like SpongeBob and be like, oh my god, it's the house, la 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 la, I want to go in by myself with my family. Sorry to say, entry into the Lincoln home, it's only permitted through a ranger-led tour, and what that means is that, like, a person is dressed up in ranger gear, and they're pretty much just giving you, a private tour along the home. Because, you know, obviously, they don't want you to damage things and run around stuff, because even though there are rails in the house, kids can easily climb up and go around and wreak havoc like Tad and Lily did all those years ago. So yeah, find a ranger or make an advanced tour before you go in. That would be pretty funny. But yeah, they're really nice. They're really informative. All the times that I've been to the Lincoln House, I want to say I've been there 3 times. They're all very nice. They know their stuff. It's so cool. Tour tickets are free, and they can be obtained at the Visitor Center front desk, like I said earlier, you go to the visitor center first before you go to the actual house. So, and the first picture that you can see on the very left, that is the house. They're not really sure if that was the actual original color, they just kind of guessed on it. But anyways, the first part of the house was built in 1839. It was actually built as a 1.5 story cottage, actually. So that second story that you can see, that was not there. That was later built by the Reverend Charles Dresser. The second floor was built in 1855 and it finished in 1856. So the boys were all there, the Lincoln family, they were all there when the second story was made. Lincoln and Mary, they almost got married in that house, but at last minute they were switched to Mary's sister's house where Mary was living at the time. So the house was about 5 years old when the Lincolns bought it, so it was already there. It wasn't a deal where they like went and they like saw the house and it was from scratch. It was already there. Like I said, it was about 5 years old. They had the contract in January of 1844, and they moved in a couple months later on May 2nd, 1844. So, not that long. You are with the ranger. They invite you in the house. Oh, by the way, you go through everywhere in the house. Not, you know, like some famous people's houses you go into, and you're like permitted to some of the rooms. You can go anywhere in the house with the ranger, but obviously there are those rails there because you don't want people stealing, damaging stuff. So in the second picture you can see that is the parlor. So the Lincolns, they really didn't spend that much time in the parlor since I had the sitting room that was on the opposite side of the house. They were in there most of the time. But anyways, lighting at the time, they were candles, like, as you can see on the mantle up there. They were candles or whatever light source you could get off of the fireplaces or stoves. There's no records of the Lincolns buying anything other than a little bit of whale oil. And yeah, like I said, the parlor wasn't used that often. It was just a place to, I guess, relax once in a while. And so that second picture that you can see, that is the I guess front side of the parlor, and then there's another section that's further on back that's a little bigger and spacier than that section. Also, fun fact, Eddie's funeral was in the front parlor, which you can see in that second picture. He was, oh yeah, all the boys were born in the Lincoln house, all of them. And Eddie, sadly, was born, and he died in the house as well. The third picture that you can see of little 7-year-old me, that is the, I guess, not the dining room, but I guess like a place where the Lincolns would greet their guests if it was like an open house or something, maybe have some drinks or little snacks. But I feel like they would hang out more in the sitting room than that little kitchen section area. Like I was saying earlier, this is the sitting room. Also, funny enough, if you guys can see in that second picture, the drum, I was looking at other like Lincoln house tours on YouTube. Surprisingly, that drum is not there. So I think they replaced it with like a chess table, but I don't know how long that little drum was there, but I guess that's a fun fact. Anyways, like I was saying earlier, the sitting room, all of the Lincoln family, they would gather there, mostly after dinner. Lincoln would sprawl out on the floor, possibly reading a newspaper or book, as you can see in the first picture. And then also, as you can see on the table, there's a lot of games present for Willie and Tad to use. And if the boys were not wrestling with their dad or playing with the dogs or cats, they would be playing all those games. Also, what I've learned, fun fact, that the sitting room is also very important during Christmas. If you guys can see in the first picture, the mantle, they would hang their stockings there. And there's even little nail implants that you can still see from that. And no Christmas tree was present that we know of. That. Alright, so that was all downstairs. And then this is the part where you go upstairs. So the first picture you see, that is Lincoln's bed. He and Mary never shared a bed together. She had her own bed in a separate room, and that was his bed. Don't ask me why, I still don't really know. I guess since he was so large, maybe? That's my guess. The second picture, that's Abraham Lincoln's pigeonhole desk. It was Lincoln's first desk when he set up for business for himself. It was a desk that he used a lot. He was there mostly every day. The neighbors would remember seeing candlelight burning through their windows up through midnight to 1 a.m. a lot of the nights. So, yeah, he sat there a lot. So this is the first picture, that's Mary's room. The dresser you can see, that belonged to her. It was a Kentucky-made item. Possibly it was handed down from her mother. So it was possibly made around 1818 to 1820. So Mary was born in 1818. So, like I was saying, it was probably a hand-me-down sort of item. Also, the bottles you can see, it's probably a little faint. It's kind of a small picture. But the bottles you see, that probably would have contained perfumes or some sort of scented oils. There were no deodorants at the time, so they had to do that sort of thing. And then on the right that you can see, there's me. There's a little baby Alaina. That's the boys' bedroom. The three boys, they didn't use the bedroom all at one time, as you can see. Well, you would probably think it's a big room, but it's a pretty tiny room. So, yeah, fitting three boys in there, that probably wouldn't be very good. So, when the bedroom was first added, it was actually Robert's room at first. He added all to himself since he was the oldest. And then Willie and Tad, they slept in a trundle bed in Mary's room that was pulled out from under her bed. And then by the time of 1860, when Robert went away for school, it eventually became Willie and Tad's room, both together. See back there were a lot of games back there. Checkers, blocks. I think there's even like little toy soldiers back there that you can't see. So yeah, they had a blast. It was also pretty cold up there. They didn't have any like candle lights or fire or anything like that to warm the rooms, because I assume Mary wouldn't want that anyways, because she wouldn't want her kids to get burned and all that. But I think they were okay up there. Right? So, the left picture that you can see, that is the maid's room. It's over an open back porch and an unheated pantry, so the room was always cold. It would also be a storage room if they didn't have a hired girl, but if they did have a hired girl, she would get paid $150 per week, which, I mean, that's pretty good for the olden days. And the hired girl would also, she also would have been like 14 to 15 years old, and she would be pretty much like a maid, you know, she'd help around the house, you know, what a maid does. And the girls, even though the room was cold, the girls really liked the room because they didn't have to share it with anybody. It was their own room, and they liked that, and they always liked to hang out with the Lincolns. And also another cool fun fact is that the wood that you see, the kind of reddish orangish wood, that is the original wood from the house. It never was changed. Everything else, all the other floor was renovated and changed except for that floor. So I thought that was pretty cool. On the right side, that is the actual kitchen. So the room that you guys were seeing earlier, that's just like a little open guest little kitchen area. So they didn't actually like fully cook in there. This is where they would cook. So Mary would obviously be the one cooking all the time. She taught herself how to cook. That stove that you can see with the eggs and pancakes, that stove belonged to Mary, and she purchased it in June of 1860, right after Lincoln was nominated. And that's the kitchen. So this is the back of the Lincoln house. The left picture is the outhouse, so that's where they would go to the bathroom. There are 3 seats in there, small, medium, and large, for all of them to use. And then the right side picture is the back of the house. As you can see, they had a lot of spacious room, so the boys could all roam around. They also had a couple of chickens, they had a cow, they had some horses. So there were a lot of animals roaming around the house. Well, not in the house, but the back side of the house and around the streets. So animals were no strangers to Springfield, Illinois. The left picture is of me and my brother sitting on the steps of the front of the house. And if you guys can see, if you guys are really good with your eyesight, you can see a plaque on the door that says A. Lincoln. I don't think it's the original plaque. I think the original plaque is somewhere in a museum. It's not the Abraham Lincoln Museum. It's like somewhere. I'm sorry. I was literally doing so much research before I was making this video, but I think that's just a placeholder. But it's cool. When you go up to the door, if you ever go to the Lincoln House, the plaque says A. Lincoln on the front of the door. And then, right side of the picture, that is a Lincoln presidential campaign log cabin wagon. And I love that picture because you can see I'm just so confused. I'm like, what is this? I do not understand politics. I don't understand what's going on. I'm just 7 years old. So I just wanted to include that picture, but there's nothing really to say about that. I assume these probably were the normal around the 1840s, 50s, and going on in the streets, I assume? Because I don't know why they would put that there if, like, it didn't happen. But yeah, that's a pretty cool wagon. I don't know if it's still on the streets since this was, like, 10 years ago. Wait. Now it's 11 years ago. My bad. I still think we're in 2022. 11 years ago, I don't know if that's still on the street. It may be. But, yeah. If you guys want to see a presidential wagon of Abraham Lincoln, just walk around the streets of Springfield, Illinois. Well, walk around the streets of the neighborhood of his house and try to find that. When I was little, and even now, this is probably my favorite statue to date. Like, I love it so much. So, let me tell you guys about it. And on June 5th, 2004, Lincoln commemorative statue in downtown Springfield was revealed, which is this. You can see that it's a life-size sculpture of Lincoln, Mary, and 2 of his sons. It stands next to Lincoln's law office across from the old state capitol, if you want to check it out. The sculpture was the first phase of an outdoor interpretive program called Here I Have Lived. The sculpture is set on October 4th, 1854, as Lincoln is walking toward the old state capitol to give a version of a speech which is later known as a Peoria speech. So, as you can see, this piece includes Mary, who's seen adjusting Lincoln's coat, Willie, which I thought was Tad at first, but it's Willie, which now I can see the facial features. For some reason, I'm really good at figuring out Lincoln's boys. I've been a Lincoln fan since I was 7, so I can pick every detail. Yeah, but once I saw the face of the statue, I'm like, oh, that's Willie. But I was just confused because it's like a smaller version. I'm used to him being more bigger, so I thought it was Tad. Anyways, as you can see, Willie is in front of them waving to Robert, he's across from them, like a distance away. It's not that far. Sorry, that is my dog. You don't see it in this picture, but later on, you guys will see the pictures of Robert. I have many pictures of me throughout the years with these statues. This was also symbolic since Robert was always somewhat estranged from his family. He didn't really spend that much time with them, especially his own father. I mean, it's kind of sad how distant he was from them, but he went to Harvard, he had to go to college, he had to do school. He also wanted to be in the army, which Mary was like, no, I don't want you to do that. I also think it's so funny how I was way shorter than Willie. I also gave him a high five, which is pretty cute. But yeah, those, if anybody asks me what my favorite Lincoln statues are, it's this one in Springfield Downtown Square. So, if you ever go to Springfield and you guys are a fan of Lincoln and want to go to every single spot, go to these statues. They are great. Okay, so this was the first time that I went to the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library Museum, and I've gone many other times later on that you guys will see later in this video, but this is the first time I went. So, the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library Museum, it's located 212 North 6th Street, Springfield, Illinois, 62701. The museum is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, and the last tickets are sold at 4 p.m. The museum's only closed on New Year's Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So, when you guys first walk into the building, you're guided to a front desk table where you get your tickets and wristbands. You have to wear the wristbands on all the time. So, adults are $15. Seniors, which are 62 and older, are $12. Military people, which you need to have an ID to show, are $10. Children who are 5 to 15 years old are $6. 4 and younger are free. Students, which they also have to show their IDs, are $12. And ALPML members are free, which that is Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum and Library members. So after you get your wristbands and your tickets, you walk around the corner, you go through the turnstiles, and the first thing you see is that lifelike form of the Lincoln family. As you can see, like I was saying earlier, the Lincolns had 4 boys, but as you can see, Eddie's not in it because he already passed away before the Lincoln family went to D.C., which I assume this is where they are setting it in D.C., and this is probably the time the Lincolns were in D.C., since you can see that they're all dressed up very nicely. I don't think they would dress up that nicely back in Springfield, so this is why I assume that this is in D.C. But, so Abraham Lincoln's in the very, very right back. Center is Mary. Back left is Robert. In front of Robert is Tad. And then, in front of Abraham is Willie. So, also, when you guys look through this video, you'll see how I get just taller and taller and taller. It's very entertaining, so I hope you guys still watch this video, because right now you can see I'm to Tad's shoulder. And then, to the right of that picture, I'm standing next to young Abraham Lincoln. You can see he's holding a book in his hand. I don't know it. I think it does say what it is, but I kind of forgot what it was. But Abraham loved to read. It was his favorite thing to do. And one of his favorite books was either Aesop's Fables or the Bible. I know, right? Classic Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln Museum also has this cool thing where they have this little children's playroom. It's pretty much a room where I think anybody can go in. Yeah, but I do remember the room is quite small, so all you tall people out there, you might have to duck a little bit in some cases. But it's pretty much a room where kids can make believe and pretend, and they can play with games there. There's like little trinket games to play with, so you can imagine what it would be like if you were Willie and Tad back in the 1850s, 60s. As you can see in both of those pictures, they also add measurements, so you can measure yourself next to the Lincoln family. So that's pretty cool. And you'll also see pictures of me every year of, well, not every year, but like some years of how I just get taller and taller. It's just funny and so cute. I always love that. So these are also some pretty funny pictures as well. What I think is really cool, so the very, very left picture, you can see I'm looking at a dollhouse. That is the actual Springfield home that I was talking about earlier in dollhouse form. It's so freaking cool. They also have little dolls that are like Abraham and Mary, Willie, Tad, Robert, that you can play with inside the house, and there's actually furniture inside too. It's so freaking cool. And then to the very, very right, you can also dress up as anybody you like. So there you can see I'm dressed up as Lincoln. I dressed up as him a few times, so you guys will see fun pictures like that. And then they also have a gift shop, which in the middle you can see I'm reading an Abraham Lincoln book in a chair that looks like from the White House, which that's probably what they were aiming for. Also, I think I have that book. We probably bought that, because it looks very familiar. But, yeah. And then, the last thing we did on our April 4th, 2012 trip was the old state capitol. We did not go inside of it, but later on, in this video, I did get to go in it, so you guys will get to see that. So the old state capitol is located on 526 East Adams Street, Springfield, Illinois, 62701. Like I was saying, we didn't go in that day, but they do give tours. It's open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., just like the museum. Also, they're closed recently until further notice because of a renovation. So I don't think you guys can go in and do tours. Hopefully they will fix that soon, because it is very cool. I couldn't figure out anything about the tours besides the hours that it was open. Sorry. I think it's free, though. I think. But, yeah, the Old State Capitol is really, really cool. You should go see it sometime when they're done renovating all. So we skip 2 years. Here, I think this is the point where I'm, like, really getting into Lincoln history now. So, like last time, at the Lincoln Museum, the same spots. As you can see, I'm getting taller. I'm now above Tad's shoulder, almost to his height, in the center picture that you can see. Also, a funny memory that just came to mind right now. I don't know if you guys can see, but in the very, very left picture, you can see I have my hand on top of Willie's shoulder. After my parents took that picture, I guess I couldn't see anybody, but a worker came up to me afterwards and they were like, "You can't touch the mannequins. I'm sorry, but you can't do that." And I'm like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't know." But I just thought that was so funny, though. I just remembered that. So, yeah, when you guys go there, don't touch the mannequins. Or I don't know if that's still the rule now, which it probably is. But, sorry to say. But, don't, like, shake them like shaking baby syndrome. Like, don't do that, at least. Like, yeah, but that story just came into mind, and I just thought that was so funny. And then the very right picture, it's the same as the April 2012 one. I'm in front of him. Just, here I was 9 years old. And then, same thing, by the measurements, took a photo, as Abraham Lincoln once again. I'm almost 4 foot. That I just realized that is really, so I was 9 years old there. That is really tall for a 9-year-old. Like, dude, Abe, that is, but you know, he was 6'4", so. So, the very, very left picture that you can see, that statue is opposite the Abraham Lincoln Museum, and it's in Union Square Park. So, you should check it out. It's really not that far. If I remember correctly, it really isn't that far from the museum. It's very cool to see and to check out, so I highly recommend do that. The middle picture, I sadly do not remember where that was taken at, but I do remember that I bought that Abraham Lincoln hat. I think it was some sort of gift shop. It's not in the Abraham Lincoln Residential Library Museum. It's somewhere else. I kind of forgot. If you guys have been to that gift shop before, comment down below where it's at, because I totally forgot. But I bought Abraham Lincoln hat there, and back there you can actually see, I think those were the costumes that the actors in the movie Lincoln wore, which, by the way, if you guys have never seen Lincoln, please go watch that. It is such a great movie. Probably the best Abraham Lincoln movie that is out there besides the movie Tad, which also check that one out. That's a whole movie of Tad and how him and his father, you just saw the relationship between him and Willie and everybody. It's such a sweet movie. So yeah, check out both of them. And then, as you can see, the very last picture, I'm standing next to a big portrait of George Washington. That is inside the old state capitol, like I was talking about earlier. We got to have a tour. It was very, very, very cool. The left picture, you can see I'm standing in front of the big old state capitol. Very, very cool. It's very large. It was a lot of fun. And then the other picture is me and my brother inside of it with a lot of stairs. I didn't know there were that many stairs. I kind of forgot about it. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of stairs you climb, but there's that. It was very cool. I don't remember too much of it, sadly enough, because I was only like 9, but hopefully I'll be able to go in there someday again. Alright, like I was saying, you guys are going to see another picture of this. So this is downtown Springfield again, and like I was saying earlier, the statues are by the old state capitol, which you can see that is in the very back in that second picture, so it's literally not that far away. And here you can actually see Robert. He's going to school while Willie is waving to him. I love those statues so much. And then somehow I fit in the middle of Mary and Abe. I was very small. Alright, this is a new thing that you guys haven't seen before. This is the Lincoln grave tomb, whatever you like to call it. Oh crap. I forgot where it's located. Hold on. Give me a minute here. Give me a minute. Okay, so it's located in Oak Ridge Cemetery. The address is 1500 Monument Avenue, Springfield, Illinois 62702. It's open daily 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it's free to see. The left side of the picture, that's me in front of the huge Lincoln Monument. As you can see, there's people going inside that door. That's where you go in to see the tombs and all that. And then, on the right side is of Lincoln's descendants. So, we got Abraham and Mary, and then we got the children, Robert, Edward, William, and Thomas. And then we got Robert's children, Mary, Mary Eunice Harlan Lincoln is his wife. And then His children, Mary Abraham Lincoln II, which was also nicknamed Jack, and then Jesse Harlan Lincoln. And then, I forgot whose kids these were. I'm sorry, I forgot whose kids these were. But then, we got Lincoln's great-grandchildren, Lincoln, Mary, Robert Todd Lincoln Beckwith, and Robert Todd Lincoln Beckwith was the very last direct descendant of Abraham Lincoln. Like I was saying earlier, you go inside these doors, and this is the very left picture. That's the first thing you see when you walk in. It's Lincoln sitting in a chair that looks like Robert Wallow's chair. Funny enough. And you walk around that, you go through some doors, and then you see Abraham Lincoln's actual tomb. Yes, that is his tomb. If I remember correctly, there was whoever wanted to steal him, so they buried him like very, very, very deep in the ground. So like, you can't try to steal Lincoln even if you wanted to. So sorry for you, Lincoln Lincoln Avids out there. You cannot steal him and bring him home. Sorry about that. And then somehow I randomly just have one picture of Tad Lincoln's grave. So there's Tad. What's scary is that he died when he was 18 and I'm 18. Yeah, that's not fun. Okay, so then we skip to August 2015. It's my birthday. I think this is this is probably, you know how I was talking about earlier how April 2014 was probably like the peak point of my Lincoln obsession. This is actually probably when it actually happened, is August 2015 when I turned 11, because as you can see, I got the hat, I got Abraham Lincoln hat cake, and then back on the wall back there, my mom made a collage of all my Abraham Lincoln visits and stuff. It was very cute and funny. Here, this is a really cool Lincoln statue. It's located in front of the Springfield Union Station. As you can see, Lincoln's sitting on a bench with his hat next to him. He's got a letter in his hand. And then I decided to be funny and put my own Lincoln hat on him, which surprisingly kind of fit. And then this is the same statue that I'm standing in front of all the other years I was talking about. It's pretty much all these pictures you're seeing today is going to be repeats, you know, full circle moments. Here, you can see I'm Tad's height, or maybe I'm a tiny bit above Tad. I want to say I'm a tiny bit above Tad. There were quite a lot of people that were there that day. I didn't even know that. But as you can see, got my hat. I'm I'm doing Tad's pose. Just trying to be a funny person. I remember that was a lot of fun. I think that actually was on my birthday. I went on my birthday, and you can see John Wilkes Booth in the background, just lurking. Fun fact about John Wilkes Booth with the Abraham Lincoln Museum, he's not there anymore. I don't know when they took him down. I want to say this, God, I don't know. I want to say early 2018, maybe? Because I remember talking about my history teacher, how he, like, recently got taken down from the museum. But yeah, he's not there anymore because people thought that was offensive and stuff. But I get that though, because that was pretty scary. I remember when I would go, I would be like, why is he standing there like a weird? And then the famous picture here, me dressing up as Abraham Lincoln. For some reason, the pictures my parents always took, I'm always looking the other direction. I don't even get it. And then I assume the one in the pink is Mary. I do not know what that one in the black with the pink tie-ish thing is. I don't know what that is. And then I was really excited to do the measurements this time, because as you can see in the very, very right picture, I turned 11 and I'm the exact same height as Willie when he was 11 years old. So I was very excited about that. And on the left side, I'm still a shorty, but... Okay, I thought these signs are very, very cool. So, as you can see here, I'm reading a sign that's called the Children's Lincoln. So, the Looking for Lincoln signs, they are super neat. While you roam around Springfield, you might see these signs all around town. They have all sorts of interesting information on them, not only about Lincoln's life, but also, like, in the local area, historically, they talk about things. Like I was saying, here you see me looking at one that's called the Children's Lincoln. It talks about how Lincoln was very fond of the children in his Springfield neighborhood. One of them, for instance, was one of his favorites, who was called Josie Riemann. That last name might sound familiar, which I'll get into later. Lincoln found her in tears in front of his house one day, and Lincoln decided to run all the way to the train station with her trunk on his shoulders because a carriage driver failed to come for it on time. Also, to his delight, Josie later married a nephew of Mary Lincoln, and Mary also gave her late son Eddie's clothes to Josie's brother Henry. Now that might give you a ring-a-ding-ding in your mind. You're like, Henry Riemann? You're probably like, Henry Riemann? That name sounds familiar. Yes, it does indeed. Henry Riemann was Willie's best friend in Springfield. And if you can see in that picture, he is the center boy in that. But, you know, he's like probably 5 or 6 years old in that. So when Willie moved to Washington, D.C., the boys exchanged letters, and the letters written from the White House, they illustrate how closely Willie followed the Civil War. He befriended Civil War soldiers, and he and his friends would also perform little military units during the war. When Lincoln would take his boys to the circus, he would also take the neighbor children along as well, and neighbors would recall seeing troops of children running out to meet Lincoln when he came home for dinner. The kids were also really rambunctious. They also liked to pull pranks on Lincoln. They had a string that would be attached to his hat. When he would be coming walking home, they would pull it, and Lincoln would sometimes get mad or sometimes joke along with them. Also, like I was talking about earlier, Willie and Henry, they wrote a lot of letters to each other, and I actually have one. I wish I could read it to you guys, but I can't read cursive that well. Well, I can read cursive, but Willie's handwriting and how small, it's kind of hard to pick it out. But this one he wrote to Henry when he was in Chicago. There's a little thing on the back which I'll read to you guys. So, letter from Lincoln's son to Playmate. So, this letter was from Willie, and he was 8 years old, to, he wrote it to Henry C. Riemann, a playmate in Springfield, and the letter was written while Willie was on a Chicago visit with his dad. So I think he pretty much just wrote to Henry and talked about the room and how it was going in Chicago, and I just thought that's really cute. And, man, at like 8 years old, writing I couldn't even do that at 8 years old. You can just tell by that of how intelligent Lincoln's kids were. And then we have February 12th, 2016, I decided to bake a chocolate cake and to just celebrate Abraham Lincoln's life. I made a little poster you can see I like tried to draw a top hat. Doesn't really look like one, but it's pretty funny. I'm kind of concerned about that cake though. I don't know why it has like 500 blue sprinkles on it. But yeah, that was his 207th birthday. It was a lot of fun. I always like to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's birthday whenever I can. We get to August 2017, and I visited New Salem, Illinois. It was a lot of fun. So, if you ever want to go there, New Salem, Illinois, it's located 15588 History Lane, Petersburg, Illinois, 62675. It's open May through October, Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and November through April, Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Here you can see me and my dad in front of the Barry Lincoln store. It was co-owned by Lincoln and Barry. That's why it's called Barry Lincoln. That'd be pretty funny if it wasn't. The store sold general merchandise such as apparel, dry goods, hardware, home furnishings, and a selection of food, including takeout meals for stage passengers. The two men were thriving merchants, and Lincoln often slept in the back of the room at the store after a long night, just reading a newspaper or a book. So that's what he did. And then the other picture, that's just me standing in front of a well. I think that's I don't know if that's the Barry Lincoln store, if that's a different building, but there's that. On the left side of the picture, you can see me waving behind a desk with my dad sitting on a log bench. This was a schoolroom where everyone would learn. I was trying to look up specifics about that specific room, but I couldn't really find anything. I just remember it was a schoolroom where everyone would learn and stuff. And then the picture to the right, that statue is located in Lincoln's New Salem State Historic Site, so pretty much just in the same area of where all New Salem Lincoln Historic Sites are. But I want to say that statue is like, you see that statue before you go to all those other stores and buildings. And then here's the classic pictures once again, me next to the statues. I just think the right picture is so funny, because like I'm like a giant next to Willie, and if you remember like seeing the very first picture I took, I was like Willie's height. So that I think I was either Willie's height or a tiny bit below. But, like, I just think that's so funny. And then there's me next to Robert, once again, by the old state capitol. I think that was the very last time I saw the statues, because I haven't gone since in a very long time. It's been 5 years now. I really want to go back sometime soon, though, which I think I will. And then, this is the Lincoln Museum. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm 13 here. So, there's me standing next to Willie. I think I'm his height. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit above him. But I was finally his height. And then there's me, the right picture, there's me next to Abe Lincoln with a cardinal hat on. It's pretty funny. Just wanted to take a picture of that because the Cardinals are cool. And then also, this was the first picture we got inside of the museum for once. This is the second to last exhibit, I think. Yeah. And when you walk in, you see John Wilkes Booth peeking through the door, waiting to shoot Abraham Lincoln. And then there you can see Abraham Lincoln and Mary watching the play, and then to the left of them is the McClellans, I think. Oh god, am I wrong? I'm wrong, aren't I? I'm so sorry. I was looking up, I was specifically looking up facts and things for 2 hours before I did this. And I'm kind of struggling, you guys. I really am. I think it's the McClellans? Oh god. I think I'm wrong. Okay. I was wrong. So, the people to the left of them is, Major Henry Rathbone and his fiancée, Clara Harris. So I was definitely wrong. That's Henry Rathbone and his fiancée that, went with Lincoln and his wife. And that is a, very cool scene to see when you go there. This is in Alton, Illinois. Here's another Looking for Lincoln poster, as you can see. You can also visit the statues of Lincoln and Douglas in Alton, Illinois. They both once made a debate there in which Douglas won. I don't think you can go up there, up on the stairs. I think you're prohibited from doing that. I remember I used to go up there, but now I don't think you can do that anymore. But yeah, if you live around the Alton area, that's really cool to see and to check out. They actually, they did a debate in Alton. I don't know if that's exactly where they did it, but there you go. Something to check out. This was the last time I was at the Abraham Lincoln Museum, October 28th, 2018, so it has been 4 years. I'm definitely overdue. I really need to go back, but I just haven't had time because I've been busy and stuff, but I'm hoping I can go back. Here you can see I am finally above Willie's height, so I surpassed both the boys' heights, and here I'm with my grandparents in front of them, because this was the first time they went and saw the Lincoln Museum with me. And I actually took some pictures, so this is a really cool picture that I took. This is, here you can see a grave with a slit in the middle of it. I bet you all can't depict whose it is, but it is in fact Eddie Lincoln's original tombstone. I don't know if you guys can read that, but it says 3 years, 10 months, 18 days. So he was very close to turning 4 years old. Obviously he's buried in Oak Ridge, but this is just the original tombstone that the Presidential Library had. And it's in the Lincoln Museum in the exhibits, so it's very, very cool to see. I also took some pictures of more of the exhibits. So on the left, as you can see, this is a law office exhibit that depicts how Willie and Tad can turn a boring trip to their father's law office into a really entertaining afternoon. It's just so funny every time I look at that exhibit, because as you can see in the very, very back, Abraham Lincoln is laying down on a couch reading a newspaper, doesn't even care what's going on, which if Mary was there, she would have thrown a fit. She would have hated that. And then let me tell you guys about my favorite exhibit in the whole museum. So if you guys haven't, if you guys have not I don't think telled is a word. If you guys have not tell already, Willie is probably my favorite out of all of the Lincoln boys. Tad is probably a close second. Not hating on Robert or Eddie, but oh no, I just really liked Willie. Let me tell you guys about Willie. So, on December 21st, 1850, Abraham and Mary welcomed their third child into the world. Willie was mature beyond his years. Like I was saying earlier, he was very, 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 very intelligent, and he really liked to learn. Mary called him the idolized child of the household, so everyone liked him. Like I was saying, Willie was a very intelligent boy. His favorite subject in school was literary composition. At the age of 10, he had a poem published in the Washington, D.C. newspaper, which, if you guys, there is the actual movie scene in Tad, that depicts that and how Abe and Mary are talking to him, when he's on his deathbed, saying that his poem got published, and he was very excited, and it's very, very cool. It's very sweet. Willie also loved trains. He had a toy train, and he liked to draw complicated railroad timetables in his spare time. Willie was Tad's protector as his older brother. They were partner in crimes. They loved every second of being together. As you can see in the very right picture, the Prince of Wales' bedroom shows Willie's final hours. In February of 1862, Willie and his brother Tad became very ill. They were probably suffering from typhoid fever, which is a result of drinking unclean water. Tad recovered. Willie sadly did not. 19th century folks weren't a whole lot different from the rest of the parents that you see today. Losing a child is always a devastating experience. And Abram and Mary carried that grief with them for the rest of their lives. And Mary had an exceptionally hard time with it. That even once Eddie died, Willie died, Abraham died, and Tad died, Robert finally admitted Mary into an insane asylum. Which, you know, she just couldn't help it. People couldn't really diagnose depression and bipolar and all that back then. They couldn't really figure any of that out, and that's kind of sad how they couldn't do that, because now with people who are dealing with that kind of stuff, there's medicine that people can go on and they can treat it, but sadly Mary couldn't. And this is a fun picture. This is a fun picture. I also got to go to the Lincoln House, which you saw the last time I was there was 2012, so it has been 5 years since I've done that. And I decided to do a little recreation post. So as you can see, on the left, that's Abe, Willie, and Tad on the very corner of their fence. And I'm like, hey, I want to do that. So I did that, and I recreated it the right side of the picture. That was a lot of fun to do. Here you can see me being a funny. It was a very special day, because it was Abraham Lincoln's 210th birthday. So it was an even number, and I brought my bobblehead from my room. I had it, I don't know what kind of pie that was, and I had ice cream, and I was singing happy birthday to him, as you can see me laughing and smiling there. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, I try to celebrate Abe's birthday as much as possible. Here, I don't think this is the same exact statue from the one in Springfield. I wish I knew where this was at, but I just wanted to show it to you guys, because it was Abraham. I was pretty much trying to find anything Abraham Lincoln related, and I found this, and I'm sitting on Abe. It was a lot of fun. I wish I could figure out where it was, though. If you guys know where this is, please comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. And then the last one that I got, in June 2019, Alden had a pretty bad flood, and me and my mom decided to go and check it out. And we saw the Lincoln Douglas statues once again, and you can see flood water back there. It was horrible. That's all I got. That is my Lincoln journey from 2012 to now. I sadly don't have any recent pictures because, you know, COVID and all that, and I've been busy with high school. But hopefully I'll do that again, and hopefully I can find new experiences now and just not go to the same things. But I obviously still want to go to the same things, but I want to find different things Lincoln related. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was pretty much just an icebreaker for you guys to get to know me, because I'm probably going to be talking about Abraham Lincoln 24/7 on this channel, but I obviously want to do different things. Like, I'm hoping soon I can go to a museum and vlog. I think I'm going to be doing quite a lot of vlogs that I'll show you guys. I'll think of something. But yeah, like I said, please like and subscribe. I know I only have like 1 subscriber. I honestly don't care how many I get, really, because this is pretty much just a diary for me to look back on and laugh and stuff. But yeah, that's all I got. I hope you all have a great week. I'll see you next time. See ya.